It's Monday morning, time to head to work. But you don't have just a regular commute like the rest of America. You head to the coastline where you're greeted by an all-black ferry. You park your car and start to board the ferry that takes you to your place of employment. As you enter the threshold of the ship, your privacy is briefly invaded by a man with a rifle, dressed in all-black tactical gear. Your pockets are flipped inside out, your backpack and lunchbox are searched. You roll your eyes at the small patch on his chest. Department of Homeland Security. The ferry pushes off the coast and cuts through the fog. You set quietly for nearly 2 miles until you reach your destination. You're greeted by a heavier armed Homeland Security agent. You're put through an even more intense search before you get to the gates of your facility. You make it through the final checkpoint before you're finally let into the place you work. You look up at the sign before you enter the office. Animal Disease Center. Time to get to work. Welcome back to the Ohio Podcast, folks. I'm here with the super hungover Rob Dog. Rob Dog, tell him how you're feeling right now, buddy.
This morning I was practically on the verge of death. I had to muster through it, though.
But right now, how are you feeling?
Tired as fuck.
It hurts to be alive, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm really tired.
We're getting too old for this shit.
Yes, we are.
Rob Dog is a very sensual man. He has a very soft grasp on a penis, but he does not handle a lot of alcohol very well. Me, on the other hand,
I had a lot.
I just stay away from it. I can't handle a lot of alcohol, so I just don't do it. I had this big work party. It took me to Florida this week. Florida. I didn't drink a whole bunch. I didn't get too drunk, man, because I know how I don't bounce back.
I had a good weekend. I drank all weekend, and then last night was kind of the pinnacle.
The icing on the cake.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, but it was fun. I had a good time.
Let me tell you about Florida. I went there for 3 days.
Yep.
Sebastian, Vero Beach area.
Mm-hmm.
Man, do your balls get sticky down there.
Oh, it's rough.
It's like someone put pancake syrup on your taint. That's what it feels like down there.
It is rough.
As soon as you walk outside, the big old stinky, sweaty hand just slaps you in the face.
Yeah, thick air. You gotta love it.
It is disgusting.
Yeah.
So for all of you Florida people, someone wrote us an email and said, "Hey, I'm from Florida. You're gonna fucking hate it. It's miserable." So, yeah, that's awfully hateful thing to say about your home state.
Well, it is.
I didn't hate it. It was nasty, man.
Hotter than shit, man.
Didn't see any gatos. I wanted to see some gatos. I didn't see any gatos, though. I did see dolphins.
Did you?
They're just like swimming up around. Well, all right. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw something jump out of the water and eat a bird. All right.
Okay.
I'm at the bar by myself, just looking out, just gazing out over the ocean.
Yeah.
And I see something jump up and take this bird down. I'm like, I stand up and I'm like, shark! And apparently, that's a problem they deal with on the reg down there. Sharks around the beach. And
yeah.
when someone screams shark, everyone gets the fuck out of the water.
You cleared the entire ocean.
So here my fat ass is. I'm like, shark! I think I saw a fucking hammerhead or a great white dude fly through the air, take down a pelican. But then there was a fucking guy. He drove a boat. He's like a tour boat captain, but he's dressed up like a pirate. So then he looks at me. He's like, "That dolphin just scared that bird off that log. He didn't eat it." I was like, "No, dude. Whatever it was ate that bird." He's like, "No, that bird definitely flew away. It wasn't just It wasn't what you thought it was."
Man, that's a bummer.
It was a bummer. I thought I saw a fucking great white, but apparently I didn't.
You saw a dolphin scare a bird.
Some guy in a fucking costume's like, "No, that's not what you thought it was." He was
fucking Yankee.
He was stinky and dressed like a fucking butt pirate.
Good for him.
Yet here we are. Well, let's hop to our new Patreon subscribers. And first, our first subscriber is Ray Nava, but he said, "Hey, give a shout out to my buddy Jake the Snake. He just had his firstborn baby boy. So congratulations, Jake the Snake.
Congratulations.
Hopefully you're not as much of an alcoholic and piece of shit as the real Jake the Snake, who we have an autographed photo of up on the wall here."
Yeah, guy's a trip. Let's see here. Next up, we got Tony24313. Thank you.
Alex Dick's Enormous Wills. Thank you, Alex Wills.
Dick's Enormous. I like that. Eric Bybee.
I think you nailed that one, dude. And
Okay.
Lindsay Strudel. Thank you, Lindsay Lindsay Truesdell. Thank you, Lindsay Toaster Truesdell.
Oh, those are so good.
They are really good.
Alondra, thank you very much.
Zane, thank you, Big Z, buddy.
Rebecca Jordan, thank you.
Nikki and Pat. Hey, it's Pat. It's Nikki and Pat. How about you pat your Nikki and tell it how much you love it?
God damn it. Joshua Loftus, thank you very much.
Your nickname for your dick isn't the little Nikki? That's what mine is.
That should be yours.
All right. Did you say the next one?
I did.
All right.
I'm not saying it again.
Kat and Brandon. Thank you, Kat and Brandon, for your Patreon pledge.
AJ, what is it? AJ, Afe, Divine, Juggalo J.
Hey, who's that guy that's on fucking
Whoop, whoop.
Who's that guy on Facebook that's been
That
going
jumps
around?
into the
He
microwaves and
said,
shit?
"What's my clown love? This is for my juggalos and juggalettes." And then he fucking jumps on something harder. He runs into the back of his dad's truck.
And it always says, like, in parentheses, like, McFoley style. Or, like,
Gotta get him on here, dude.
I know.
That guy's wild.
He jumps on, like, barbed wire and shit.
This is for my juggalos and juggalettes.
Pretty sure he's mentally
He
challenged.
definitely is mentally challenged. No doubt about that. We got a live show coming up, Rob Dog. I know you're taking a big swig of peach tea, but tell
Yes,
them
I
about
am.
it.
We got, excuse me, there's three of us. It is us, of course, Justin Rimmel from the Sexy Mysterious Circumstances podcast, and then the always sexy as well, Jerry and Tracy from Hillbilly Horror Stories. This is Saturday, June 22nd, 2019 in Indianapolis, Indiana. This is at Gina's Grill, $15. Get the tickets.
Yeah,
They're
holla,
almost gone.
holla for $1. I'm going to be there. Rob Dog's going to be there. We have no fucking clue what our topic's going to be because we don't decide these things until the day of, like we did today.
Yeah, we did. We figured it out last night.
But here we are. And next we have a podcast promo. They wrote us an email and said, "Hey, will you play our promo?" I didn't write them back to say, yes, I would. But here, we're going to play it. This is the Quick Bites podcast. Go check them out at Quick Bites.
Hey, welcome to Quick Bites. You ready for this?
Yeah.
For this topic, fetishes,
Stunt performers.
EMDR,
Brain basics.
drinking games.
The Rubik's Cube. I'm Pauline Altman.
I'm Jessica Thomas. Tell your friends.
Yeah. Quick Bites.
Paulie and Jessica. I think that's what it said. I know
All right.
Jessica because she's the one that wrote us the email. Go check out Quick Bites. All that stuff.
Check
Sex
'em out.
fetishes, Rubik's Cubes, putting Rubik's Cubes into your dick hole. We're all
Ooh.
into that stuff.
Hey,
Some of you are probably wondering what I'm wearing on my head that are watching on the YouTube channel. This is my lawn mowing hat. This is, yeah.
pretty fashion.
This is my
forward.
this is my deportation hat. that I'm gonna wear when I get deported.
Crying into
I
a
hope-
Big Mac.
Yeah,
Like, oh, I'm gonna miss this.
they definitely have Big Macs in Mexico for sure.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they're probably not as good though. Maybe I don't know.
Grande Mac.
Grande Mac. Give me the Grande Mac.
Man,
Thanks to Josh Kitchen and our buddy. Josh sent us some shirts from what's the place in what's the fucking prison, the haunted prison in Ohio,
Mansfield.
Mansfield. He sent us shirts. As you remember, Josh was in charge of the Aleister Crowley episode.
Yep.
Thank you so much for that, buddy. We appreciate
Thank
the
you.
shirts. And then our Twitter friend, he sent
Oh
a
yeah, I saw that.
bag Viper Bubbles. He sent us a bag of candy dicks, which actually came in really. It worked out really well because there's a guy talking shit at work, okay?
Mhm.
And I had him in my car, and he had his window rolled down, and I'm like looking for something to throw at this fucking guy, and all I could find was this bag of dicks that I had in my seat that I hadn't taken in my house yet. So I grabbed the bag of dicks, candy, and I throw it as hard as I can. Fastball, fucking black the dude's eye. The bag explodes. Candy dicks go everywhere. I was like, "Give me some of those candy dicks," and I got a handful of them, and I ate them on the way home. They were delicious, but they were used as a fucking weapon. I'm sorry, Viper Bubbles.
Broke someone's orbital bone with them, but hey,
He got it coming to him. You know,
Came in
don't,
handy.
you don't mess with Nicolicious in the parking lot.
no,
'Cause
definitely
you're,
not.
you're going to be going down. We are from the great state of Ohio. There's no questions about that.
No, there's not.
I'm a huge Reds fan. Rob couldn't give any less of a fuck about baseball.
No, I like going to the games in person, but I will not watch it on TV.
One of our all-time favorites, Peter Edward Rose, was in the news this week, and he's the topic of our newspaper article. If you don't know Pete Rose, he's the hit king. He's had the most hits in all of Major League Baseball in his career. He got banned from baseball for gambling. He signs autographs in Las Vegas every day for like $20 now. Just, hard up.
He's a family friend.
He is a relative of Rob's wife,
Yeah.
which is like blood relation. It's awesome.
It's wild.
Baseball great Pete Rose and Joe DiMaggio never played in the majors at the same time, but they teamed up once in an odd situation. Rose, baseball's all-time hit king, told a funny anecdote about the time he gave the Yankees Hall of Famer a shower when they were visiting the troops together in Vietnam during the war there. He apparently was referring to a 1967 USO-sponsored trip featuring baseball stars. It was so hot, nobody could sleep. Rose, now 78 years old, recalled WFAN radio host Mike Francisca in a clip, which I'm going to play the clip in just a minute. Quote, this is Pete Rose. He says, all of a sudden, Joe says, I got to take a shower. Rose remembered. I said, Joe, we're not in downtown Saigon. We're in the damn middle of the jungle. I don't give a damn. I'm Joe DiMaggio. I got to take a shower. But the Yankee Clipper needed Rose's help. The only way you can take a shower there is a guy had to get up on a chair, me, have a bucket of water, pour it into his canvas tank, pull the chain, and the guy beneath took a shower, said Rose, the former Cincinnati Reds star and manager. I gave Joe DiMaggio a shower. Then Rose gave an unsolicited appraisal of Joltin' Joe's junk. Quote, the best way to describe Joe DiMaggio is he was a penis with a man hanging from it. That's a big old dick, dude.
That's a huge dick.
That's a big motherfucking dick. You think I was swinging that baseball bat hard? You should see my wiener.
Rose,
penis with the man hanging from it.
Rose, who's promoting a new book, quote, Play Hungry, the making of a baseball player, is banned from baseball for life for gambling, but stories like this, which he has told before, make us glad he isn't banned from the talk radio circuit. And here's the clip in question.
We're down in, as you may not know, South Vietnam is a jungle.
He went to Vietnam with Joe DiMaggio on a tour.
Yeah, 23 days I lived with Joe. And it's so hot you can't sleep, and all of a sudden Joe says, I got to take a shower. I said, Joe, we're not downtown Saigon. We're in the damn middle of the jungle. He said, I don't give a darn. I'm Joe DiMaggio. I got to take a shower. So the only way you could take a shower there is a guy had to get up on a chair, me, have a bucket of water, pour it into this canvas
Pour it over
thing,
his head.
pull the chain, and the guy underneath took a shower. I gave Joe DiMaggio a shower. Now, the best way to describe Joe DiMaggio is he was a penis with a man hanging from it. You're going to get us kicked off the air, Mike.
He tells the host. He says, you're going to get us kicked off there. He's the fucking dickhead that said it. He was a penis with a man hanging from it.
That's hilarious.
If you are a penis with a man hanging from it, send us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com.
And just know we're extremely jealous.
Let us know how it feels to have all that extra weight on your waist.
Oof.
If it hurts, if it's uncomfortable, if you constantly have women trying to grab it and shake it. I've never had that problem.
First world problems right there.
First world problems. We've been out of sync for a few weeks. We had the call-in episode, which wasn't one of our new episodes. We had a fucking twister come through town and ruin everything. By the way, I finally have in my possession all the Bigfoot shirts, as you can see on Rob's.
Yeah.
He's wearing right now. So those, God willing, are going to start going out this week.
Yep.
It's just been a weird month, but we're back in the saddle here. We got something
Stronger than ever.
stronger, back and better than ever. Hopefully you guys have stuck along for this weird fucking couple weeks.
Yeah, weird times.
Weird times.
We try.
Rob called me. He's like, I don't want to do the podcast anymore. And I said, what? Why would you say that? Why? No, you didn't do that.
We almost gave up.
None of that happened. None of that happened. So we're talking about, as you heard in the beginning, talking about Plum Island. And if you don't, I love plums.
Yeah, plums are really good.
I was starving during the research the entire time. I just want a nice juicy plum.
Like, when did the plums come in?
Where's the one? What's the one song where the person talks about sticking their thumb in a pie and pulling out a plum?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I've always wanted to eat a plum off of my thumb, and I've never done it.
Off of some man's finger.
And yeah, but I want him to have really long fingers.
Long nails.
I want him to gag me a little bit when he puts it in my throat. Gag me a little bit. I like to be gagged. Speaking of being gagged, the big thing now is like girls just like to be fucking choked, right?
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be choked during, like, I tie my fucking shoes, okay? Then I'm like, and I'm holding my breath, and then I start to get woozy. I'm like a tall light pole in a windstorm, just swaying back and forth, you know? And I'm like, is this what they feel like whenever they asked us to choke them? And then another hard task is to know how hard you're supposed to choke.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to choke like you possibly want to go to prison for a little bit? Are you trying to show them that you're not man enough to choke them like they deserve to be choked? I mean,
I say if they want it, you give it to them full fucking go.
yeah, well, I fucking, the other night I threw my wife down. I put my knee on the side of her neck, and I'm like, is this what you fucking want? She couldn't say anything. She was squawking, you know, just like, yeah. I don't think I was doing it right. And then I asked Jeeves and Lycos, and I looked it up to see, like, what's the best way to choke a woman. Apparently, you don't use your knee. Apparently, it's just a little bit of hand.
You missed the memo. It's okay.
Well, I'm just not good at this stuff. I didn't grow up doing this stuff. And then there's the people that just like to fucking choke themselves while they're jerking off too.
Yeah, I just choke when I'm sleeping because I have sleep apnea.
Exactly. I used to be like I got to the point I was so fat I had to sleep face down in order to not snore. Now I'm so fat now that all the like the Dorito juice and orange juice I've drank all day long starts to pool in my throat while I'm sleeping face down, and I choke face down now. So I'm just gonna die in my sleep soon. They got all this shit just like clogging me up. Back to Plum Island.
All right.
Why don't you tell them what Wiki says about the old Plum Island, Rob Dog?
Where are we at? There we go. All right, Plum Island Animal Disease Center of New York. There's a what's an abbreviation called? Acronym. There you go. PIADCNY. That's the stupidest acronym ever. Is a United States federal research facility dedicated to the study of animal diseases. It is part of the DHS, the Directorate for Science and Technology. Since 1954, the center has had the goal of protecting America's livestock from animal diseases. Now, during the Cold War, a secret biological weapons program targeting livestock was conducted at the site. Although it had slowly declined through the end of the century, this program has been controversial for years.
Now, whenever I think about war, whenever you think about war, I think about bombs flying through the fucking air, hitting the motherland, babies and dogs just flying through, heads getting blown off.
Oh.
Sorry, I got a security update. We'll have to go back and edit that out. You think about just the atrocities of war. Bullets flying, machine guns. But the war has really changed over the years.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, something like this would be the way to completely wipe out a country. Go to China.
Biological warfare.
Fuck up their water. Or go to America and fuck up their livestock. Could you imagine a Labor Day celebration with no ribeyes or sirloins?
Oh, man.
What America would do?
There'd be so many pissed off Americans.
Donald Trump would get impeached.
It would happen so fast.
He can collude with Russia and be okay, but if he fucks up the steaks and burgers,
oh yeah,
he's gone. Okay?
We get crazy about our food, so.
We do get crazy about our food. Even more so if you infect the food and make it to where it kills all of us because we're so fat and we couldn't rely on anything else.
I wouldn't be able to.
I'm just going to go ahead and suffer through this burger. I think I'll be all right. Oh, my fucking dick's bleeding now.
I would debate it.
You would?
Yeah. I'd be like, man, that fucking steak looks so good, but I know if I eat it, my fucking fingers are probably going to fall off.
I'm fucking quit. I'm so done.
So the way the war is fought is definitely in unconventional ways compared to what you're used to reading about in history books.
It's a lot dirtier nowadays.
It's a lot dirtier. I think one of the first things, if we're attacked by another country, say North Korea, if you guys are not listening because you're not allowed to listen to the internet, I think the first thing someone like that would attack would be our power grid,
right?
Our water systems, something like that. But another thing would be our livestock, and that's kind of what this is in place for. The old what do we call it? The PIDC, the Plum Island Animal Disease Center of New York. They're in charge of researching all these different animal-borne pathogens that can just completely annihilate an entire population of livestock and get us all fucking sick.
Fuck us all up.
And where is this place located? So you would think a place like this that harbors all of these different viruses, you would keep it far, far away. How about less than 2 miles off the coast of Long Island? That seems like
Why not?
That seems like a really nice place for it. It's located off the northeast coast of Long Island in New York State. It's gone through many different changes over the years.
That explains so much.
Not Wyoming, not North Dakota, even though no one lives there. We're going to put it in Long Island. That's a good place for it.
Because you have Batman to protect it. There's always Batman.
Hey, yo, you want to go over there and see all the fucked up cows, bruh?
I was taking a walk the other day, and I walked by there. The cow down there was sucking on his own udders, and he raised up. He spit his fucking milk right in my face. And I said, "Hey, buddy, you don't spilt that milk in my face." He said, "I ain't a cow, buddy. I'm a bull. That's my jism." I said, "I'm going to come back, and I'm going to eat your fucking ass. Not eat your ass, buddy. I'm going to turn you into a steak. Little salt, little pepper, little garlic. Sear you on both sides, 3 to 5 minutes.
Bada bing, bada boom.
There we go. And it's gone through many different changes over the years. Many families have owned it over the years, eventually purchased by the U.S. government in 1894. $90,000.
Making some noise here. Not bad.
Yeah, that's a good deal for a big island off the coast of Long Island. That's some expensive shit. It's worth millions now.
Yeah, that's the late 1890s, so 90,000. I'm sure it was a lot more.
There was a lot of it passed through the hands of a lot of different families. But in 1952, Plum Island was reactivated and assigned to. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself there. At one point, it was made Fort Terry. Cemetery Terry, he be sneaking around looking for all the nasty mosquitoes.
No wonder that's what the fuck's wrong with them.
He said, "Hey, you got a skeeter on your Peter, I'm gonna beat it off." You know what I'm saying? Cemetery Terry sneaking around the island. Seemed like a good place for Cemetery Terry. They
Really
called
does.
it Fort Terry, and it was used during the Spanish-American War. But before that, George Washington said, "This should be an excellent spot to keep eye on the entire world trying to invade America." I've never heard what George Washington sounds like, but I'm pretty sure that was pretty fucking close.
Pretty close to JFK.
Yeah, that guy too. George Washington had wooden teeth, so he's probably just like...
His mouth just clanked.
Sound like someone's beating train whistles together whenever he talks. All right. That 1952 Plum Island. What are sugar plums?
I don't know.
Those sound delicious too.
It's a fairy's pussy. Or its asshole.
Oh, I bet that would be good too.
Give me some sugar
I'm
plums.
down for whatever. Some fucking 300-pound guy from Craigslist shows up. "I'm the fairy you requested. I got the sugary asshole." Have you ever experimented with sugar during sex?
No. The guy just bends over and there's just Sour Patch Kids hanging from his asshole.
It's all I could find at the gas station.
I hope you like the blue ones.
I fucking hate the green and the yellow ones, so blue's fine, I guess.
See, I hate the blue ones.
Yellow Starburst, yellow Skittles
Man, pink Starburst. Come on, man.
are the absolute biggest waste of space in the entire America. We could fit so many more people on this continent if we would just get rid of all the yellow Starbursts and yellow.
I don't like the green Skittles.
I don't like green apple or anything.
Yeah, well, the green apple doesn't belong with the other.
It should die.
flavor
It should
palettes.
die. Yeah.
Definitely.
If you like green apple, delete us from your podcast app. Because I
like the caramel suckers.
Those are
the
good.
candy apple suckers.
Those are
Those are good.
Those are it.
But yeah, that's it.
Oh God! Now they assigned it to the Army Chemical Corps. That sounds wonderful. Where it was used as an Army biowarfare lab and an animal and biological research facility, with the stated purpose to, quote, "establish and pursue a program of research and development of certain anti-animal biological warfare agents." Okay, then.
All right.
70 buildings sprawl across 840 acres of land. Plum Island has its own fire department, power plant, water treatment plant, and security team. Over 200 employees and 100 scientists are ferried across to the island every day. The island is publicly disclosed as a biosafety level 3 rated facility, but insiders note that the types of experiments conducted there require a level 4 security rating, the highest possible security rating. For instance, the Plum Island Laboratory is the only place in the country where research on the highly contagious foot and mouth disease is permitted. Although Plum Island Laboratory's stated purpose is to protect the nation's food supply against foreign animal viruses and agroterrorism.
That sounds crazy.
They done fucked up all the corn. That's all right. I can't eat corn no more ever since I got my fucking dentures put in. I just pretty much take my teeth out, suck my own dick like dragging two squeegees up and down your wiener. Feels real good. Slap on it real hard. Quit looking at Grandpa. Quit looking at me. Got my toes blown off in the worst. Fucking gnats flying around this goddamn basement. Detractors note that most of the facility's directors over the years... Now, this is fucking suspicious right here, Rob Dog. Most of the facility's directors over the years had extensive backgrounds in military biowarfare research and development.
What do you know?
So not only are they housing the virus foot and mouth, which is not the same as what your kids get when they're little.
Yeah.
They also have the African swine fever.
Oh, God.
Rift Valley fever. They have anthrax. All right. They have mad cow disease, foot and mouth disease, which we already stated, and West Nile virus.
All right.
This lab is home to all of these deadly microbes and many, many more.
It's a little goodie bag there. I like it.
So I'm thinking about this, all the stuff they have just in this building, okay?
I don't know what Rift Valley fever is, but that doesn't sound fun.
I think that's the one where the skin between your belly button and your dick hole tears in half. All that skin right there, it just all shreds right in the middle.
Sounds horrible.
I've tore that muscle before trying to do sit-ups after I hadn't done sit-ups for a long time. I disconnected the muscle that attaches my belly button to my penis. My mom's like, "What's wrong?" This is it, Mom.
I'm dying.
This is it. I've detached it. I think there's a medical procedure, not that I've ever looked, but where the muscle that attaches your penis to your fupa, they'll cut it, and it lets your wiener hang down a little bit more. It makes it a little bit bigger, okay?
Okay.
It's a real medical procedure, and they just cut it, and it detaches that muscle, and your dick's like, instead of like always pissing on my balls, my wiener hang down a little bit more, and I can like just piss wherever. Gives you a little more dangle in the wangle, if you know what I'm talking about.
That sounds fun.
If you've ever had the penis muscle cut before, write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. Let us know how much more wangle to the dangle it gives you. Some of us might be interested in something like that.
Man.
I feel like that's a procedure that you and I have the steady hand to pull that off ourselves right here. This table's big enough. Just move these monitors.
You can find the homemade vasectomy kits on the on the dark web too, so we can do that too.
I don't want to do that ever. Oh, you don't.
Going back to that episode.
Sorry, we had to cut there for a second. My fucking garage door just collapsed out.
It happens.
It's never ending. Just stream of shit around here. I'll tell you, I'm gonna fucking cry right now.
Being a homeowner's fun.
Yeah, because the island is a potential target for those who might want to steal dangerous pathogens or just blow the motherfucker up and let all the stuff into the atmosphere, or breach protective barriers in order to release those pathogens into the air. Security on and around the tiny island is tightly controlled. Visitors to the facilities must undergo FBI background checks before they're allowed on the island. All bags and personal belongings are inspected before anyone is permitted onto the ferry for the 1.5-mile trip. Armed guards check visitors leaving the island to ensure no food or other material are carried back to the civilian areas. You got all this stuff there going on, man.
A lot of moving parts.
And you check all these people. You got to check their bags. You got to check their fucking toenails, all this stuff. What? And these, all it takes is the smallest microbe, the smallest germ to take it back to, wherever, Long Island.
Yeah.
Someone dragged some African rift water flu back, or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. African swine flu.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Someone takes that back to the Statue of Liberty. That's going to fuck some people up, man.
Hell yeah.
So, in my mind, I'm already thinking, okay, is this a facade for something bigger? Because this does not seem like something... It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, why harbor all of the most dangerous and deadly diseases in one place?
In one place, next to the largest metropolis in the entire United States.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest tourist areas.
Kill everyone. Everybody lives there. Everyone that listens to this podcast is from New York. Actually, I don't think we have a single person besides Jersey Pete that listens to this podcast from New York. Maybe
that's why the fucking Hudson River's so nasty. Is that even near it? I don't know.
They just shit in their hands and throw it in the water.
Tired of pooping in my toilet.
Now there was a power failure. So this is when I'm going through the research, I'm reading this stuff, and they're talking about all these different pundits are saying, yeah, it is what they do there. They have all these different diseases, all these different viruses, whatever. And they don't do a very good job of containing the shit. They're kind of nonchalant about it. They don't have the best security protocols. And checking someone's bag or lunchbox is not the kind of shit that needs to happen in order to keep this stuff all contained. So there's been incidents where questionable things have happened at this facility.
Okay.
Some very questionable things have happened. For instance, there was a power failure at the facility that the United States government has unequivocally denied, just like they deny everything when it comes back to bite them on the head of their wiener.
They don't ever do anything wrong.
It says Plum Island has experienced several serious safety incidents in the past, most of which were initially denied. Lab 257, where most of the work on the most virulent diseases takes place, was constructed and outfitted with a number of safety features. Airlocks, sewage treatment systems, they keep herds of infected animals on the premises, deep refrigeration units, and air filters. Regardless, in 1991, Hurricane Bob...
He strolls through there with his walking cane.
Hold on a second, I gotta get through this, Rob. Hurricane Bob, the most nonchalant hurricane in the history of the world. Oh,
he has his Skechers laced up real tight.
Yeah. And as you can see off the coast here, coming through the tropics, we have some activity stirring up. This one's going to be Hurricane Bob. You can expect it to collect disability Social Security for being obese and being an alcoholic and not doing much else, but this is undoubtedly Hurricane Bob, and it reminds me I had a run-in with a man named Hurricane Bob in my life, and I'll tell you about it after I do this. Hurricane Bob knocked out power on the island for several hours, disabling air pressure systems that ensured that the viruses were contained. Viruses intended to be stored at sub-zero temperatures were thawed. God, that's so fucking bad. I went to work and came home, my penis itched, but I had to use my forehead to itch it. Pumps and sewage tanks stopped, and the tanks overflowed.
Oh, God.
Whether viruses or pathogens escaped at that time is not known, or at least has never been admitted. In fact, lab administration and the U.S. Department of Agriculture initially denied the event even happened. No, we were actually just standing over there. Everything was fine. But later reports told of workers desperately trying to seal the unpressurized doors with duct tape in order to stop a potential virus outbreak.
It's proof that duct tape fixes everything.
No, it doesn't fucking fix this. Outside experts pointed out that duct tape sealed doors are physically unable to contain a virus.
It's all on the sticky side of the tape now.
Ew, it's all right here. So they denied this. They said, no, that didn't happen. But then they eventually came out and said, yeah, it did happen. But
Our bad.
We fucking had it, dude. We just so fucking had it. And to circle back to my Hurricane Bob story, the town we grew up in, there was a really small bar called the Whiskey Barn. The Whiskey Barn would serve Rob and I drinks when about 14 or 15.
Right when we were getting hair on our peaches.
They would start serving you drinks. And I was a certain group I was rolling with when I was 16. I didn't like to drink that much, but they always wanted to go to the Whiskey Barn because they would serve us alcohol. And every time we would go in there, there was a dirty, grimy... You ever watched the movie Dennis the Menace?
Mm-hmm.
The character that Christopher Lloyd plays.
Yeah.
This guy looked like that. And I would always stare. I'm like, what the... he would always catch me staring at him. And then finally one night, I asked the bartender and some regulars that were there, he would always be sitting off the bar at a cocktail table, and he would watch ESPN classics, or the the old ESPN stuff.
Old school stuff.
Yeah. I said, who is that guy? And he said, his name's Hurricane Bob. I'm like, how do you get a fucking nickname like Hurricane Bob? Here I am, 16, just like sipping on some Natty Light because it's the only thing I could afford. And they had it on sale. They said, well, we heard a story that he came up from Florida, and one night at a bar, he killed about 4 or 5 guys in a bar fight. And I said, Jesus Christ. So that's one way to get the nickname Hurricane Bob. You come from Florida, and there's a story that you killed 4 or 5 people in a bar fight.
Right.
Yet here he is, sitting at the Whiskey Bar in Northridge, Ohio, which did survive the tornado. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
So one night, 3 or 4 times, he catches me staring at him, just because he was the fucking weirdest looking dude ever.
He was just the odd man out.
And at this point, I'm already going through that phase in my life where I'm just like into dark stuff, I like dead bodies. I like explosions. I just like we are now. We like weird stuff, man. And that's how I was. I was like, man, this guy's weird. He's killed people. I want to stare at him. But I would just stare at him, and he would catch me looking, and I'd look away. Just like our science teacher, the guy who had a huge fucking dick.
Hell
and he
yeah,
would
he did.
stuff it down there in his, he had this huge bulge in his pants every time, and he would always catch me staring at his dick.
He would come up to you and he'd put one leg up on the couch or one leg up on the chair.
And
just talk to you.
I stared at stuff that intrigued me. I just stare at it. So I'm staring at old Hurricane Bob. And one night we're drinking and we just got going, and my stomach had been weird for about a week, and I just get this horrible shit cramp. And I've just recently made it to the point in my life where I can shit in public. Okay,
Right.
that night I had a shit at the whiskey barn, so I run to the bathroom. I sit down, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying not to let it all go. I'm just trying to ease into it so it just completely rip me out. And for like a week straight, it's just been like a million little rabbit pellets coming out. And I was just bound up, but then it would all come, and I went to the bathroom, and the door swings open, and I hear just like someone take 2 steps in and stand still. So like my butt is fucking tighter than a virgin fucking pussy. And I'm just like, oh no, someone, and I don't like to poop in front of people. And then the person walks to the stall and I could see the person was facing the stall door, like the door, their feet. It's like if the stall door was open, we would be staring right at one another.
Yeah.
And I see the toes come up, and it's some fucking nasty, worn out, shit stained white Nikes.
Okay.
That's what Hurricane Bob was wearing.
Okay.
And I'm just like, oh no, he's gonna come, Hurricane Bob coming here to fucking kill me. He's got a fucking dick gun. He got a nut knife. He's gonna kill me. I don't know what he's gonna do. And I'm 16, dude. I didn't have a phone at the time. I couldn't call 911. Not that I needed to call 911, but I probably should have or could have. And he's just standing there so close to the stall door that I can see his feet under the door. So then I just like bloop, bloop, like let two of them come out. And then all of a sudden Hurricane Bob says, it's true what they say about me.
Oh God.
And I'm like, oh my God. I sit in the stall, I start like crying. Like I'm thinking about my mom, because my brothers weren't nice to my mom, but I was always nice to my mom. And I'm like, these guys are gonna fucking kill me. But then I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going down swinging, Hurricane Bob. So then I grab the toilet paper, because I'm gonna wipe. I'm gonna get out and be like, what's up, motherfucker? What's up, Hurricane Bob? And I pull the toilet paper, 1 square. 1 square, okay? So I wrap it around my middle finger, and I'm just like, I start to drag it across my butthole real slow, okay? So then I've got the tactic in my back pocket. If he gets sideways, I'm just going to fucking stink eye him. I'm going to shove a turd finger in his eye because I don't have any toilet paper. Then he speaks up again. He said, it's true what they say about me. And I start wiping my ass real slow, and he's like, I've had a lot of boyfriends. What? Like, stop. I stop with my finger halfway in my asshole. Just stop. And he said, and I do like to take things real slow. He says this. I like to take things real slow as I have my finger fucking gently, slowly pulling it across my butthole.
Like, me too, buddy.
I say to myself, oh man, this guy wants to fuck me. And I wasn't into gay stuff yet. But the thought of like my first time being with someone stinky and slimy like that, I said, I don't know, I probably wouldn't like it very much. So then I just keep on sitting there and shaking. And eventually the son of a bitch just turns around and walks out. And I'm like, oh man, fuck. I still had shit up and down my ass. I pulled my pants up. I walked out there. I said, you, we gotta go. And I looked around, and Hurricane Bob's not out there.
Man.
And I'm like, where the fuck did that guy go? They said, he walked out, he left. And I'm like, you guys, you got to follow me to the parking lot. I'm leaving, but you guys got to go with me. I'm leaving. So we went back up there a couple weeks later. Hurricane Bob wasn't there. And I said, where's Hurricane Bob? They said, he hasn't been back since that night that you guys were here a couple weeks ago. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what was that guy trying to do to me?
Man.
He said, I've had a lot of boyfriends. It's true what they say about me. I'm Hurricane Bob, motherfucker.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my Hurricane Bob story. Isn't that nasty?
Man.
The worst part about that story 1 square of toilet paper.
That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. That's hard
I was
times.
fucking MacGyver. For then on.
I should have took my underwear off and wiped my ass with them and just threw them in the toilet.
Well, now what I would do with something like that, I would just pull my pants up and get up and walk out and just say, I'm going to live with shitty butthole for the rest of the day. I'm going to live with a shitty butthole. Now, next we're going to talk about the foot and mouth disease outbreaks, which are... My kids have had hand, foot, and mouth. It's a nasty, nasty rash they get on the bottom of their feet, the palms of their hands, in their mouth. It's a bad fucking deal, but... As far as agriculturally speaking, hooved animals, foot and mouth is substantially different, and it's not been confirmed, but I don't think you can't infect humans, like animals can't infect humans with it. So
okay,
but nonetheless, it's very scary shit. The UK just went through an outbreak here recently, but it says because congressional law stipulates that live foot and mouth disease virus cannot be studied on the mainland, Plum Island Animal Disease Center is unique in that it is the only laboratory in the U.S. equipped with research facilities that permit the study of foot and mouth disease. It is also unique in that it is the only laboratory to experience not one, but 2 uncontrolled foot and mouth outbreaks. In 1978, a foot and mouth outbreak occurred among animals in the pens outside the laboratory. All animals were quickly destroyed. Another series of foot and mouth outbreaks occurred in 2004 when the disease was accidentally released within the laboratory. So why I got a little bit here in reference to foot and mouth. Why don't you tell them about the old FMD there, Rob Dog? Let me tell you something, Rob Dog. I went on vacation with my wife this weekend.
Yeah, you did.
We went to Florida.
Good old Florida.
We got a hotel room. She told my friends we were having cocktails. She said, I'm not going to have a very good night because old Delicious Nickalicious, he's only good for about 1 trip. So I snuck around the corner. I had a Blue Chew in my pocket, a chewable blue pill. I popped one, didn't even have to take it with my dinner, went back to the hotel that night, and Nickalicious wasn't good for 1. He wasn't good for 2. He was good for 3 trips around the bedroom that night because the wonderful little trick, the little treasure in my pocket, Blue Chew. Tell them where they can get their Blue Chew, Rob Dog.
You can get your order of Blue Chew at bluechew.com. You get it in a nice little discreet package. Nothing's going to say that you have a broken dick on the cover or anything like that. You'll be fine.
But there's a promo code, Rob Dog. They can get their first shipment free. I can't remember the name of the promo code. What is it?
Brohio?
That's right, old Rob Diggity Dangle. BROHIO. Brohio. Use that promo code. You get your first shipment free. And as always, you send us a screenshot of your order confirmation. The bros of Brohio are going to send you some free stickers.
Oh, that's a gift in itself.
What is there to lose? Blue Chew. You can take it on an empty stomach. It's chewable. It's got the same active FDA ingredients as Cialis and Viagra, all in a beautiful blue chewable pill.
Bring the fun and the love back into the bedroom.
Put it in there. And when I say put it in there, I mean put that Blue Chew in your mouth and chew on it. Go to BLUEchew.com. That's Blue Chew. Use the promo code BROHIO for your first shipment free.
Be proud of your wiener and let her be proud of it too.
I'm proud of your wiener, Rob Dog.
Thank you. It's Blue Chew. All right, so what is FMD? So foot and mouth disease, it is a highly contagious virus disease of animals. It is one of the most serious livestock diseases. It affects cloven, hooved animals, so those with divided hooves, including cattle, buffalo, camels, sheep, goats, deer, and pigs.
All of our favorite.
All of our favorite. They all taste so good. It is found in many parts of the world and has been reported in countries in Africa, reported in Africa, the Middle East, Asia, South America. While it can cause serious production losses, the most significant impact of the disease occurs because of its effect. Did I hear that? Yeah, because of its effect on trade in livestock and livestock products. Countries without the disease, which include many of Australia's major trading partners, do not import them from. I feel like that sounds weird. I'm a horrible reader. So
No, it's fine.
or severely restrict imports from FMD infected countries. Now, although FMD is not very lethal in adult animals, it can kill young animals and cause serious production losses. The clinical signs are fever, followed by the appearance of vesicles, kind of like testicles, but
Fluid-filled blisters.
yeah, that sounds absolutely horrible. Between the toes and on the heels, on mammary glands, and especially on the lips and tongue and
oh my
palate.
God.
Whew. These vesicle testicles often combine to form large, swollen blisters that erupt to leave raw, painful ulcers that can take up to 10 days to heal. Now, foot lesions leave animals leave them lame and unable to walk or feed or walk to feed or water, and that's horrible. The tongue and mouth lesions are very painful and cause animals to drool and to stop eating. Adults usually begin eating again after a few days, but the young animals may weaken and die or be left with foot deformities or damage to the mammary glands.
God, so this is not necessarily mad cow and swine flu, that stuff. If we ingest that, it's the fucking end.
Yeah.
What this does is it's so contagious that it can get on the farm equipment, the fences, the grass, the feeding areas, and it's transmitted from animal to animal. And essentially, it kills off the population rapidly.
The young especially.
The UK had an outbreak fairly recently. When I say outbreak, they got on this thing fast, and it cost the UK $500 million to contain this in just the short amount of time and there was so many animals that had to be euthanized and destroyed. That this is something that I don't think it would signal the end of the United States of America,
Mm-hmm.
But an outbreak like this could essentially wipe out all of the livestock in the country, and it would take America billions upon billions of dollars to fix something like this. And not only would it do that, but then the harm that it would cause to farmers.
Oh yeah, that'd be devastating.
It would completely destroy our economy.
Mm-hmm.
Not that our economy was 10 years ago, it was fucking destroyed anyway. So we can go back to ground zero. We can do it all over again. So this is a really scary illness that this place is testing. They're kind of in the literature. It says that it can't be contained, it can't be held or tested on the mainland. So they said, how about a mile and a half off of Long Island? Like I said before, I think we'll do it there. This stuff is so fucking bad. We don't want it in America, but you guys can test it there. That sounds fine.
Just send it out a mile. We'll be good.
Now there was also there's the talks that it's been a bioweapon research facility over the years as well. So they absolutely have had the people on staff that we can absolutely connect the dots here and say with all certainty, yes, this place was a biowarfare research facility. Cuba, they still claim to this day that America, I guess, did some things to them, and they point to Plum Island, and I'll tell you guys about that. It's widely believed that Plum Island is specifically engaged in the study of zoonotic.
That sounds really fucking hot.
Yeah, it's like erotic zoo animals.
Zoophilia. You like that shit, Mr. Hands? You like a big horse dick tearing you in half?
Zoonotic diseases that can be transmitted from animals to humans. Oh, those are the absolute best, like West Nile, Lyme disease, and the Ebola virus. The Cuban government alleges that in 1960s and 70s, bioweapons developed at Plum Island were deployed against Cuban agriculture, targeting pork, tobacco, and sugar cane. The lab, of course, denies these allegations. Still, Plum Island administrators remain very tight-lipped about the facility, its safety mechanisms, and its true purpose. Even in dire circumstances, the Plum Island lab will hold its secrets tight. When Plum Island employees on the mainland came down with mysterious illnesses, Plum Island doctors and technicians refused to assist their doctors in the diagnosis of the puzzling ailments. So Cuba, they definitely point the finger at us for that one about affecting their. But there's not just. Okay, so as far as we've gotten, we think that they just hold these illness, these viruses and pathogens, whatever, but they're also conducting experiments of ways they can infect mass populations using fleas, ticks, mosquitoes. Now that for me is fucking scary, man.
Oh yeah.
In Florida, I got bit by about 500 sand fleas. You want to talk about a piece of shit animal that's worthless to the fucking world.
Well, especially when we get to talk about this next topic. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I had a excuse me. The other day I was out in the middle of the country driving, going from, one stop to another stop, and I had to pretty much cornfields on both sides, and then I had to stop by this farm that had a bunch of cattle. And I had to piss real bad, so I pulled over on the side of the road so I could piss.
Did you call one of them over and just start peeing on its head to show dominance?
Fucked it. No, I got back in the car, and I felt something fucking sting the back of my neck, and I reached back and pulled it, and there was a fucking tick on the back of my neck.
Oh, dude.
And I was like, man, good thing I got that before it started burrowing.
What if it would have been a Russian tick and you got put microphones in your neck and stuff?
So getting through it down, and then I saw it, and I grabbed some pliers and
squashed it.
Popped that little dude. He wasn't getting no more than me.
And when I was doing the research, I told Rob about this. We went through 1,000 different things to talk about this week. I found a project the U.S. government, it's confirmed they did it, called Acoustic Kitten or Acoustic Kitty Cat, Operation Acoustic Kitty.
Yeah.
And they took cats in Russia, and they cut these cats open, and they installed microphones and transmission equipment so they could send these cats around to spy on the Russians. And the problem that they ran into, imagine this, is they couldn't get the cats to do what they wanted them to do. So
they're cats.
They got the microphones to work, and the U.S. government was really going to do this.
Meow.
Yeah. And apparently the cats that they used did go on to live, full, long, healthy lives. But a cat does where the fuck a cat wants to do, and they couldn't get the cat to do.
It's like, you know what, honey? I think Fluffy's a snitch.
Yeah. Off with his head. Now, we're going to talk about Lyme disease for a second. And then I think about, I didn't know how bad Lyme disease was.
It's horrible.
Man.
It's horrible.
It's a crippling, horrific disease. It can rob its victims of memory, concentration, sleep, and even vision. God, man. It can cause nerve damage, pain, numbness, and paralysis, chronic schizophrenia, and psychosis to its severe infections of the brain. Lyme disease was first reported in the United States in the old town of Old Lyme, so that's why we call it Lyme disease.
Hey.
And this was in Connecticut in 1975. Lyme disease is caused by the bacterium Borrelia burgdorferi.
Whoa.
Burgdorferi. Deer ticks feed on blood, so essentially they feed on animals and human blood and therefore spread the disease. So where did Lyme disease come from? Where does this Lyme disease just pop up? And it's spread, like we said, via ticks and the bite of ticks. And Lyme disease is it's something that still happens to this day. You can still get Lyme disease. The first case of Lyme disease, like we said, was located in Old Lyme, Connecticut in 1975. Plum Island Animal Disease Center is not even 10 miles from Old Lyme, and it has the research facility
coincidentally
has a tick research lab. Tell me about that for a second,
man.
Now, Plum Island recruited Nazi Erich Traub after World War II. He worked directly under Hitler and, in all honesty, should have stood trial at Nuremberg for the terrible, horrible, brutal acts he committed during World War II.
Project Paperclip.
Yes. He was brought to the U.S. during Project Paperclip.
Yep, there you go.
The exfiltration of approximately 2,000 Nazis out of Germany by OSS and CIA directors for service to American intelligence and industry. So during Project Paperclip, America says, we fucking destroyed you, Germany. Now we're going to take all your radical, crazy scientists. And these scientists in Germany were doing some of the most atrocious things to humans in concentration camps.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing the most disgusting, foul, vile experiments that you can inflict on a person ever. And it's completely out of the scope of all humanity now. Something like this, I hope things like that don't still happen. But one of the most intelligent, best scientists they have, Erich Traub, was brought here by the United States government because of his advancements in bio warfare. I guess I'm not going to call it terrorism, but he had made such giant leaps with ticks and mosquitoes and fleas. And he had actively been working in Germany on a fucking bomb that they could drop full of fleas to infect an entire nation. And they had it.
Ugh.
They nearly had it ready to where they could drop this on a population and just destroy with whatever illness they wanted to put in these insects. Now, Mr. Traub was a top biological weapons industry director. His expertise was infecting ticks and mosquitoes with biological germs. Working on, and he was actively, like I said, working on developing diseases that could be loaded into such insect vectors and spread into enemy territory as a bioweapon, eventually creating Lyme disease. So he's the fucking guy that created this shit, and he was working at the lab 10 miles from where the first Lyme disease case was found, and which could be carried in ticks on birds and other animals. It said that the island let the infected creatures roam the island, somewhat contained. Boats, birds, and people went on and off the island. The likelihood of an insect or tick going ashore with one of these government-created diseases, which eventually became known as Lyme disease, is a virtual certainty, as Lyme disease formed its name off the area where it's first discovered, like we said, Old Lyme, Connecticut, which is 10 miles away. This is from Agricultural Magazine, quote, "There are no secrets at Plum Island, but there is great caution. In foot and mouth disease alone, the Plum Island scientific team is working with a virus that, if let go in the U.S. livestock population, could cause anywhere from $54 million to $690 million to control even a small outbreak, and that doesn't even consider the approximately $4 billion annual loss in export sales of U.S. beef. Because of the dreadful potential consequences of that one disease, Congress decreed in the early 1950s that the FMD, foot and mouth disease virus, could only be studied off the U.S. mainland, in other words, on an island." So you want to call it a coincidence? Ooh. It's not a coincidence.
Not at all.
The top Nazi scientist that created Lyme disease is brought to this lab. This is where he was forced to work after the war. And 10 miles away, so they first start finding this shit.
It's too convenient to be a coincidence.
And also, the West Nile virus, the first ever case found of that, was in Queens, New York.
I didn't know that.
That's just as, it's a little bit further away, but Jesus Christ. All it takes is one mosquito to fly on this island and hop on one of the,
the fairies.
The fairy's butthole, delicious butthole, like we talked in the beginning, or an infected horse or an infected cow. Just one quick suck,
done.
And back to the mainland, and then it starts, man. So they, like we said in the beginning, they portray like this is an ultra lockdown, ultra, impenetrable place to get to, that nothing gets out.
Well, it happens.
It does happen. And it's scary to think about it. That something like that is next to such a huge metropolis. And I love steak. And I'm really upset about this because I really like food a lot.
Yeah. You're fucking with my food, man.
I had chicken for dinner, and it was really good. I don't want swine flu in my chicken. No. I don't want any of that.
No.
So this is where it starts to get a little bit weirder. We've talked about the Montauk Monster before.
Oh, yeah.
But not very in-depth as we are right now. There's a picture circulating on the internet of the Montauk Monster. It's this hairless, fleshy beast that washed up on the shores.
It's me.
In Montauk, New York, in July of 2008. It was officially passed off as a turtle without a shell. Then they said, no, it's a dog. And finally it said, no, it's a raccoon. So
why not?
It went through all, but then all the people that were there on the scene that saw this thing said this thing was approximately 6 feet 2 inches long. Ooh, that's a fucking big goddamn raccoon right there.
It's bigger than both of us.
Hey, I'm about to dunk this fucking basketball. I know I'm a raccoon.
The raccoon on Guardians of the Galaxy, he's not even that big.
He's not even that tall.
He's a rocket. He's little, man.
Yeah.
This is a big raccoon, 6'2". Jesus Christ. And also, so in I guess in respect to this, they eventually took this thing, and no one said where it went for sure. No one said exactly what it was, but then just a couple weeks later, something that looked just like it washed up again. Now this is just a few miles away from this facility, the Plum Island
facility, yeah.
And it's the whispers are that not only are they testing these illnesses and these viruses, they're also trying to genetically engineer these different kinds of animals and genetically engineer human animal hybrids is what the whispers and the conspiracy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about
so
that.
They're trying to create these different things. And I tell you, this Montauk monster that washed up, it doesn't look like anything I've fucking seen before. Not that I check out a bunch of dead animals, but this looks nothing like anything I've ever seen before.
I'm about to look it up.
It looks like a big old stinky, sweaty nutsack with a fucking eagle nose on it. It's the most terrifying thing that you've ever seen. Now, witnesses say he was as tall as 6'2" and partially decomposed. It was reported as having long fingers and puncture holes in the skull.
Oh, good for it.
Yeah. Let's see here. And like we said,
what the fuck is
the
this
government
thing?
officials said that it was yeah, you're looking at it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what it is.
Why is it flipping off the camera? Look at
Right
it.
here, fuck you, because he died, man.
It's pissed off.
They said it was a dog.
It kind of looks like a dog, but it's got a beak.
It's got a beak, man.
Yeah, it has the upper lip is like a beak like a bird, but it's not a bird. There's no wings.
Yeah, I know. What is it?
Fucking weird.
Yeah, I know. And they said it would be taken to a nearby facility for analysis and study. It wouldn't be something from Plum Island, definitely not from there. But even creepier, so this is going down this winding tunnel here. Now, this is just a few miles down the coast. So if something like that does get off the island, and it's not completely implausible to think that it would just wash, a few miles down the coast.
Right.
That's where you'd find it. But at one point, it said there was a mutated human body found on Plum Island itself. On January 14th, 2010, a private security guard was patrolling the perimeter of the research facility on the southwest end of the island. Now, this is actually on the island itself. At about 4:15 p.m., when he came across what was described as the body of a human male measuring, maybe I got these numbers mixed up, but measuring 6'2" in height with a large build, wearing green cargo pants, a light green short sleeve shirt, and brown loafers. It doesn't seem too odd at first until one looks at some of the strange details of the corpse. The fingers of the unidentified male were said to be extremely elongated, and another odd detail was that he was found to have 5 symmetrical holes bored into his head either before or after death. There were no other signs of any sort of trauma on the body. Since there was no identification on the strange corpse, the Suffolk County Police ran a search through various databases, including military, criminal, missing persons, and fingerprint records, but nothing at all came up, and the mysterious body has remained unidentified. Oddly, the dead man was initially described as being a white male, yet the following day, the official report was that it was in fact a black male. A strange discrepancy in the reports that authorities explained away as a simple oversight with no further explanation. For many, this has combined with the mysterious location of the discovery and the strange state of the body, as well as the government's refusal to confirm or deny any part Plum Island had to play in the case, to the point something more secretive and sinister going on, such as perhaps evidence of some sort of human experimentation on the island that is being covered up. Considering that the whole report seems to have been forgotten and relegated to the background, it seems like we may never know for sure.
Yeah, it definitely could be a hybrid. And
This motherfucker.
that died and they just dumped it in the water.
He didn't even wash up. He's on the island.
Yeah.
He's got 5 holes drilled in his head, Rob Dog. If you go out for night, he's wearing green cargo pants.
Yeah.
He was ready to fucking party. He wanted to
was.
have the extra if, he's out partying, she says, you hold my iPhone for me so I can suck your dick. He's like, I got you. I got cargo pockets, so let's do this. People die every day. People are murdered. People die unexplained deaths every day. People get in car accidents. Accidents happen, But people don't die with symmetrical 5 holes drilled in their skull.
Yeah, definitely. That's abnormal.
Shit doesn't happen, man.
Right.
Not to mention, this guy had fucking claw fingers. They said his fingers were elongated. He had excessively long fingers. Like big old fucking Grim Reaper fingers.
He could have made someone very happy.
He could have made me very happy.
Yeah.
And they say the tactic to do is to lie her on her back, put your fingers inside of her, and kind of push down on her stomach a little bit and make like a come here motion. That's from the Brohio Love Guru, the Delicious Nicolicious. If that works for you, send us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. If you don't have super long fingers, like me, for instance, maybe that's something you could try.
Use your dick.
It doesn't work on man's butts. Well, it does.
It could.
It could. It will make them come. I enjoy coming. Don't you, Rob?
Every once in a while.
Yeah. And hop on our Snapchat this week, and I want you guys to send videos to Rob of the sounds you make when you come, and I want you to be as creative as possible. If you want to email us the sounds you make when you come, we could, since those don't disappear.
Yeah.
You could play those on the air next week. So
that'd be fun.
Send us sounds of your coming sounds.
Bonus points if you're actually coming.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. Just let us know the sounds you make. Just like and the best sounds, we'll play them on the show next week. brohiopodcast@gmail.com. Because
it'll be a fun little montage.
On Snapchat, they disappear.
Yeah. Let's do the email.
Yeah. And next is a maybe true, maybe not story that I gathered from Reddit.
All right, so take it for what it's worth.
Take it for what it's worth. It's a creepy story in reference to Plum Island here.
All right.
It's a little bit of a long one, but
lengthy and stanky.
We're gonna take a break and then we're gonna hit you with it.
All right.
Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we are gonna read this story, but Rob and I are gonna rotate back and forth.
It's pretty long.
If one of us have to read all this, we're gonna fucking pass out.
We will die.
Yeah. So this is called "What Lives on Plum Island."
I'll start. Okay.
All right.
If you ask anyone from Long Island about Plum Island, they are likely to tell you horror stories, tall tales, and the like. You see, Plum Island is infamous for being home to Building 101, otherwise known as the Plum Island Animal Disease Center. Throughout its checkered past, even since it opened its doors in 1954, the facility has been concerned with one thing: the contagious and often dangerous diseases that can infect animals, chiefly livestock. The island is shrouded in mystery, and to this day, if you happen to navigate nearby it, you can see signs on the beaches that say "No entry."
So when I got the job offer to work on the island, I was more than a little skeptical. I think the only reason I agreed was because I was adamant that I did not want to return to college for the fall, and the only way my parents would agree to that without kicking me out of the house was if I had some sort of job. To this day, I don't know how my uncle got it. He always joked he had connections, and it turned out he wasn't kidding. When I got a letter from the U.S. Agricultural Department with a contract offer as an animal control specialist, the details were hazy, and all I could glean was that I would be part of an animal control unit. Still, the pay was good, and I figured it was better than spending 4 months at McDonald's. I did not even mind when it specifically said that I would not be able to talk to anyone or return to the mainland because at this point I was a loner and had begun to consciously avoid people. Even in college, I would often spend my nights alone, either walking around campus or reading, and I loved it.
So 2 weeks later, amidst a tearful hug from my mom and a disapproving pat from my dad, I boarded the boat and headed to the island. Plum Island by itself is creepy enough. It is cold and often surrounded by a dense and murky fog. It is littered with ruins of old farmhouses and homesteads, not to mention the site of Old Building 101. Yet it was so beautiful in its own way, and I was instantly at ease the moment I set foot on it. Once on the island, a supervisor filled in the details of the job. I and 2 other guys, we're going to call them X and Y, were in charge of exterminating all mammals on the island. We would perform regular patrols around the island 3 times a day, and if any mammal was found, we would have to put it down and then dispose of the body by burning it. Gruesome, I know, but we had to do this to ensure that nothing left the island. If an outbreak got to the mainland, the results would have been disastrous.
So we did our job every day, every week for almost 3 months. The weather got colder and the leaves began to fall. The island was our world. The researchers almost never left the research facility, and even when they did, they barely spoke to us. We 3 trackers became fast friends, partially because there was literally no one else whom we could talk to. Even though we had a TV, it earnestly felt like we were in another world. Everything on the television became almost alien, even news from our former towns. Instead, we knew every feature, every trail, and ruin on the island by heart. For the first time in my life, I could actually say I felt at peace. And our duties? I think we had to deal with a total of 4 incidents, and although it was especially daunting the first time, we slowly realized that it had to be done. It was not like we were doing this out of malice, and I give credit to the facility for giving us the most humane means to do it.
In short, it was fairly calm, if boring job. Until December, that is. I remember it clearly because it happened immediately after the first snowfall. The island was beautiful, remote, and silent. On the beaches, the snowflakes falling and the dark gray waves crashing made it feel as if I was in a painting. During our walks, it felt as if we were in another time. Only the ruins and dirt roads served as a testament to man's presence on the island. But what I remember most was how in the snow there were tracks of something. By no means was I ever an expert of tracking animals, but I know for sure that it was not the typical raccoon or deer that made those tracks. Although we were puzzled, I remember thinking it was a dog or perhaps some coyote that somehow swam to the island. Either way, it was our job to hunt it down, and that's what we did. Every day followed the tracks, investigated where they led, only to find nothing. I swear we checked every burrow, every beach, every ruin on the island, but we found no trace of the beast itself. Instead, we found bloody stains in the snow and ripped remains of birds that were literally torn into shreds.
After about a week, we began leaving traps around the island. They were pretty archaic and consisted of bear traps and tripwires in conjunction with nets. Yet despite all of our hard work, none of the traps managed to catch it. I cannot tell you how frustrating it was to see our efforts end in failure every day. These efforts did not escape the notice of our prey, however.
We began finding dead birds in the most conspicuous of places. Each was killed in the same way, neck broken, body savagely ripped to pieces, blood everywhere. Sometimes they would be right next to the trap we set up. Other times the body would be on the path that we traversed. X made the suggestion that it was playing with us, daring us to find it. It wanted to be noticed.
And one night it got its wish. We woke up to find 3 corpses of birds in front of our cabin. Most unsettling was how clean the bodies were compared to the others. Except for what looked like bite marks on their necks, the birds were completely intact. Trails of blood that led to the cabin came from the forest. It was obvious that it had dragged the bodies here and left them for us to find. The situation became more complicated as the creature's challenges did not escape the notice of the higher-ups, who began to show concern in our lack of progress. So we were given actual rifles and tasers in addition to our lethal tranquilizers. We began to wake up earlier and hunt in the cold dawn. It was one of these freezing mornings that we finally managed to get a glimpse of our enemy.
First off, there are some things that can never be explained in a way you experienced it. The only way to understand is to actually experience it yourself. This is one of those events, and I have poured hours into just trying to find the right words. Bearing this in mind, I will continue by saying that the moment we entered that ruin, everything felt wrong. The first thing that hit us was the smell. It was rank and loathsome. It was more than just the now familiar smell of death, and when I shined the flashlight through the doorway, I swore I felt the blood drain from my face. The inside of the decrepit farmhouse was covered in blood and the carcasses of birds. Not just 2 or 3, but at least 8. The birds barely resembled birds anymore. They had been completely ripped to shreds, and the only common thread was their necks were broken and had teeth marks on them. I nearly threw up, and then we saw it.
It was almost indescribable. It walked on 2 legs, I think, and it seemed to be a combination of several animals. It was hairless and had so many teeth. It was so grotesque and unreal that my mind immediately went to Lovecraft and to horror movies. My brain did not recognize that it was real for a second, and all I could comprehend was the silence before everything erupted into complete chaos. In the instant, I realized that it was actually sizing us up. This thing that clearly could not be intelligent, that was roughly the size of a chimpanzee and more monster than natural, was actually thinking.
Then everything exploded as X shot the creature. It screamed in fury and began to charge at us. Me and Y, so far still in shock, began firing at random. Apparently one of us hit it because it shrieked an inhuman cry and fell to the ground. Then before we could react, it picked itself up and ran through a hole in the wall to the snowy fields beyond, shrieking and howling. Of course we gave chase. It was not too hard to follow it. After all, it left tracks in the snow and a trail of blood. It ran extraordinarily fast, and we lost sight of it quickly. My biggest fear was that it would swim away to the mainland. Luckily, it either did not know how to swim or chose not to. Plum Island is not big, and after 10 minutes, we tracked it down to its lair.
From the moment I first saw it months ago, I had my suspicions that there was more to the lighthouse than met the eye, and now I know I was right. Blood streaks painted part of the wall that led to a broken window. It was all evidence we needed to know that the ominous, decrepit building was its home. I'm not sure if it was because of the adrenaline, but to this day, I remember the moment, the calm before the proverbial storm, perfectly. I remember the looks we shared with one another. At this point, I was not even scared. I was far beyond that. I was resigned to either dying or killing this thing. We had been changed, marked in a way by this experience, and we all knew this. We were contemplating this while in perfect silence that was only broken by howls of the early morning and the shrill, unearthly shrieks of the creature inside. There was no rush. It was trapped and hurt badly.
It was X who began kicking the door. He was the strongest of us and was built like a linebacker. It was not long before the door flew open. There's a saying that a cornered rat is most dangerous. Unfortunately, this proved true then too. Before we could even shoot, the thing immediately hurled itself at Y and began scratching and biting at him. Y began screaming at us to shoot it, and within seconds, dozens of bullets must have been shot. When I opened my eyes, what was left resembled more raw meat than animal. The thing was now clearly dead, riddled with bullets, but even at close inspection, I could not tell what had been our work and what had originally been. Y was all right physically, but a bit bloodied and bruised. Mentally, though, I don't know. He was very pale, and after we checked up on him, he said nothing. It was clear that he was disturbed by what had happened.
Me and X discussed what to do with the body. It was hideous, flabby skin, and a face that resembled that of a monkey. It was muscular, but covered in sores and pus. In one word, grotesque. He wanted to bring it back, and I just wanted to burn it and be done with it. His reasoning was that the scientists had to know about it. Mine was that we three would gain nothing by letting them know about it. In the end, I won, and we left its smoldering remains behind. As soon as we returned, our supervisor, one of the scientists in charge of the place, told us that our contract was done. Simple as that. No questions, no explanations, nothing but the command that we would leave on the next boat off the island.
I never did speak to X nor Y or anyone from the island ever again. I still do not know what we saw, and I have never returned to Plum Island nor sought to return. But I have been keeping tabs on the facility, and although we never got any explanation, I have my suspicions. I've been reading up on it, and apparently they have had outbreaks that came from the island before. People have spoken out against the safety of the facility, but I believe the people in charge knew what was out there. That is why they hired us. It was not about killing that one raccoon that somehow got to the island, it was about testing us against it. Maybe it did legitimately escape, but I believe that they let it go. Either way, they knew what was out there, and they did nothing to help us. They did not even give us any warning. They needed to know how strong it was, if it could outsmart people, even kill people. I don't know why or for what purpose, but we were the guinea pigs in a twisted experiment.
That's pretty fucking gnarly.
Ooh. That would have scared the poop right out of my butt.
Just think about that for a second. They've genetically engineered something that they put, and we're not far off from something like this. I don't think. To put the Boston Technologies or the people that make the weird fucking robots.
Yeah.
Those things are Absolutely terrifying.
Have you seen there was recently a video posted on where was it? I don't remember what it was, but it was comparison from like 2009, the 2009 robot to the 2019 robot. It's fucking gnarly.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like at 2009 they were like getting it to walk, and like it was just starting to, get the stabilization and stuff. 2019 it's like jumping and scaling like all these things and walking
so
perfectly
scary.
upright, and yeah,
I want no part of that, dude.
yeah, the design's a lot sleeker and it's wild. It can gauge how far it needs to jump, so it gets the jumps perfectly every single time. Varying distances, it's wild.
So the worst thing about all this thing going on in Plum Island is they're closing. The intention is within the next few years to close down Plum Island, which is, you would think that's probably a good thing, but they're not closing it down for good. They're moving their research and everything that goes along with it to Kansas. They have a facility that they're going to use in Kansas, right in the middle of the United States of America.
Cool.
So they no longer need to worry about infecting things on the coastline. They can just infect everybody in the heartland of America.
Just let it spread.
Yeah, just spread like my butt cheeks at a fucking frat party.
Amen.
What you doing, boys? Thank you so much to those. This week we said, hey, give us a topic to talk about. And people came through. I can't remember.
Clutch.
I can't remember the name of the person that said Plum Island. Maybe Rob Dog can look it up.
I sure can,
because they deserve some credit. Another good one was the Black Knight satellite that we wanted to look into.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Definitely want to check into that. We got a lot of good stuff this week. We would like for as many of you to come to the live show. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful live show. We are going to, I think we're going to have a really good topic for that week. We're going to have lots of friends, lots of family, lots of good things going on.
Michael Dwayne Prettyman.
Thank you, Michael Dwayne.
Thank you.
Because we can't come up the stuff on our own anymore.
There was somebody else, but that's the first one that I ran across. So if you said it as well, I'm sorry. I suck. That's the first one I saw. Someone wants to see about the first time we fucked. Let's hear about it.
Yeah, there was one person said, Heather, Dr. Seuss said, you guys should do an episode on my dick.
My dick.
You fucking bitch. You figure out why you got a dick in the first place. Heather, Dr. Seuss. And then someone said, you need to talk about the first time you guys fucked each other. All right.
Nicole Williams was the other person that said something about that, and then Stacey H. Freeman agreed. So There you go. Those are the two that I remember specifically. So
thanks, guys. But you gave us a lot of nightmare fuel. We're going to have a lot of good episodes coming up. Lots of stuff we haven't read about. Lots of things that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Because every week I'm like, should we do Roswell or 9/11? And we love getting off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Covering things that you guys might not know about. Covering things we don't know about. Makes it a little bit harder to talk about this stuff when we know nothing about it, but that's what the research is for.
Hey, yep, that's what we do that for.
Fucking phone.
Your phone is going wild.
It's not
man.
even people calling me. It's just it's things.
Alerts.
So my question for you, Rob Dog.
Sure.
People like to know, what do you guys think about it? What's your thoughts about this place? What do you think? Do you think it's all face value? You think they're just researching ways to contain this stuff? Because ultimately, that's what this facility is for. Is it's a research facility, so we know how to contain these different illnesses and viruses and these, livestock pathogens.
No, I don't think it's that for 1 second. It may have at one point in time started that way, but I think that it's probably evolved into breaking down the disease, different ways to transfer it, probably a bunch of different things. I don't think it's just, hey, we got a bunch of tubes filled with this shit, we're just going to keep it here so nothing happens to it. There's no way they have that, pretty much that ammo, and they're not doing stuff with it.
Well, that's not a bomb. That's a septic tank.
It's an old crapper tank.
It's an old crapper tank. What a wonderful movie.
Well, what about you?
Oh, man, I think, and I'm more of, you're the one that's kind of like, oh, man, yeah, that's fucking cool. I think fucking aliens are doing it. And I'm more of the one like, what about face value? You know, for instance, 9/11. I'm a face value guy. I don't think there's much to it. I think people are like, what's he fucking talking about right now? I think the cards fell perfectly. But in this instance, I don't think that what they say is going on is exactly what's going on. There's just too much. Okay, so the plausibility of us ever needing something like this is high.
Yeah.
We, at one point, we'll probably have to use some agricultural terrorism, whatever they want to fucking call it. We're going to need to use it at some point, which is sad, but the day is going to come. There's going to be a World War III, and this is how these wars are going to be fought. It's not going to be dropping a fucking atom bomb in the middle of the night. It's going to be fucking somebody making everybody sick through the water. It's going to be, making their lettuce kill their kids. It's going to be something like that. Sadly enough, I hope it never happens here, but someday, maybe hundreds of years from now, something like that's going to happen. And we have to have the capability, just like we need to fucking have Space Force. Okay, we got to know. We got to have our corporals and lieutenants in line to figure out who's going to be the spearhead for Space Force.
Hell yeah.
Got to have Space Force.
Sign me up.
But we also need the capability to fuck.
We want to be the first podcast in Space Force.
Yeah.
Somebody make that happen.
Yes.
Get Elon Musk on the horn.
Exactly. I think there's much deeper than face value here. I think there's some really fucked up shit going on.
Absolutely,
for sure.
yeah.
I think they probably have made mistakes and not necessarily known. If you don't know you did something, like you're driving behind a trucker and something falls off the back of his truck and hits your car, he's going to keep driving. He doesn't know. It's his fault, but he just doesn't know. And I think in this instance here, if a fucking Lyme disease tick got loose, they didn't mean for it to happen. They didn't know it happened, but it did happen. So they're like, it wasn't us, but ultimately it probably was them that caused Lyme disease. And that would be a big defeat to admit, to say, all right. Just like AIDS, which is one of the episodes. Actually, I was talking to one of our Patreon subscribers, Tyler, this week, and he wants to do how the AIDS was engineered by the U.S. government for population control.
Yeah.
Fucking mind blown, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
God, it's so crazy. It's so fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot that goes on with the inner workings of what we're looking at here. And I think, like you said, definitely not face value. Definitely some crazy shit going on.
Right. Yeah, it's far-fetched to think that a facility exists to harness all of these all of these diseases, and they're just keeping them there to hold.
Yeah. Just holding on to them like a fucking sperm bank.
Right. There's got to be more stuff than that going on. There has to be.
I got a sperm bank upstairs next to my bed. It's a sock.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
The old stiff sock.
The old crinkly sock. Oh, yeah. I think I've told this story before, maybe. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. When I was a kid, I would always hear about how people would dump it in a sock. Mm-hmm. And I thought what people would do is they would get a boner, then put a sock on, and just jerk off with the sock on.
Oh, man.
You want to talk about some bad nights. About a month straight, I thought that was the way to do it. And I said, man, this really fucking burns. I've got some race car burnouts on my wiener. This is bad. This is real bad news. But fortunately, my brother called me one night. He's like, you're doing it all wrong. You're doing it all wrong, sport.
You're not supposed to fuck the thing.
Yeah, you're going to catch that sock on fire and burn the fucking house down. Let old Jason show you how to do it. You got to, grab it like you're grabbing a salamander. Like you're grabbing a little slippery lizard. I saw all kinds of lizards in Florida. They're fucking flying all over the place.
They don't give a shit. They run the place.
Yeah, I want to put one of those in my butt and see how it feels. If you ever put a lizard in your butt, write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. Fun episode this week. We're back in the saddle. We're back going in the right direction.
Killing it.
Yeah. Now we're gonna stop and we're gonna do a Blue Chew advertisement because you can use the Brohio promo code.
Why wouldn't you?
And get your free shipment.
Get it.
Get this. We love you.
Thank you, guys.